How do you do?
That's good luck to Mia. To Mia! Hi, Daddy! Daddy, look at me! We appear on the map! Our Father, Heavenly, good little boy, and bless Mommy, and bless Daddy. Amen. Well, hello! Yes, I'm going out hunting elephants and tigers. Might see some rhinoceros or alligators. What's that, Daddy? Like it, Daddy? I hope I don't have teeth like that. It'd be too hard to clean. Well, hello! I'm an American man. How do you do? You're not supposed to shake hands with our left hand. You're not supposed to wear gloves in the house either. Well, who is it? Oh, are you a general? Well, I'm a soldier myself and I'm hunting all day long. Oh, yes, I do. Elephants, a few tigers. No, I'm not very long now. A giant came here woke me up. No, Mia, it wasn't imagination. It was a giant. Came here woke me up. And when I got up, he had a hole in my arm. Oh, no, he was a nice giant. I gave him a picture book, and then he went away. Are there lots of giants around here? That must have been him then. Well, really, Daddy, other than elephants and tigers, I believe that. What giant? Oh, he's real. Ooh, he was a great big man with a hairy coat on, and he walked like this. Yes, yes, yes. Oh no, he doesn't come through the door or through the wall over there. Oh no, he's a nice giant. He gave me a watch. Yes. Would you like to see it? Yes. If the giant will come with me.
We've warned you.
How does this start? You've been warned.
You have been warned.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm Bill Evenson.
And I'm Thom Lang, and buckle up. We're in for a bumpy ride because we're starting minute 1 of Son of Frankenstein.
That's right,
comfy,
Thom.
Folks. Get comfy, folks. It's 2 years of this shit.
It may be the most interesting minute
Could very well
in the
be.
movie.
Our guest this week, having established himself in the pantheon of comedy works beginning with the letter M, joining Monty Python and the Marx Brothers with his work on the seminal Mr. Show with Bob and David, went on to create Moral Orel and Mary Shelley's Frankenhole.
Oh yeah, a lot of
M
M's.
shelf.
Look at that.
And Edge Love Happy right off the M shelf altogether. You may know him from his work on the show Community, which has 2 M's, where he played the character Sideburns. It's Dino Stamatopoulos.
Starburns.
For fuck's sake.
What did I say?
Sideburns.
Oh, you know why? Because it autocorrected. Fantastic. Hey, at least I followed directions.
Autocorrect is not a fan of comedy. I've learned that
that's very
early
I'm
on.
cutting that out. All right.
you
Good.
are,
What a great
okay.
start.
No, don't cut it out. Leave it. It's fine.
Welcome back to
I'll
Frankenstein
leave it
Minute,
for
Dino.
sure.
Thank you. It's I won't say a pleasure. No, it is a pleasure. But I had to watch Son of Frankenstein, so
Yeah, you said you watched it all the way through finally.
all the way through. It wasn't, it was the second time this month I tried, and I got through it this time. And it's not as bad as I say it is.
I know.
But
I-
boy,
Right. We're off to a great start.
I'd have to agree. I watched it also last night, and this season I probably won't be able to say every time we record that, I watched it yesterday.
Well, and there are a few minutes where I don't know how they're going to be divided up, like where they'll start and where they'll end. But there's a possibility that 1 minute will be Wolf just walking his son to bed, because I think it takes a full minute.
Oh, I think it does.
As it happens, I looked this up today.
Did you?
It
Okay.
cuts in the middle. So he gets up the stairs at the end of minute, I think 53, and then it's about 20 seconds into minute 54 when he finally
More
starts to talk
walking.
to him.
Right.
There we go. A little bit further. Not far now.
I mean, I don't know. I'm going to dive right in and ask, do you think, because there was no script, they felt like maybe there wasn't enough movie there? And he how does this director edit his other movie? I don't remember Tower of London.
Tower of London is not as fatty as Son of Frankenstein is.
Yeah.
And I think that was made a little more conventionally than this. Part of the reason, when we'll get into it as we go through it, is that he had Bela Lugosi, and Universal, as usual, was dicking Bela around. They paid him $500 a week.
Right.
And they were only going to employ him for a week. So Roland V. Lee, the director, said, well, that's bullshit. I'm going to keep him on through the whole production. So
you've got to be on his side for that.
Oh, absolutely. No,
Yeah, that part.
I mean, I'm talking to myself right now. I've got to be on his side for that. Dino.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. You do. I think it's only fair. But I think
I don't know. I really expected this to be a little more 2-on-1, but you guys are happy to.
Well, I'm going to get down and dirty if you let me.
All right. Tom has notes on the minute, as do I. So we start out with the Universal logo, or do you want to jump into the history?
It's a different Universal logo.
Yeah.
Than we've seen.
It's what we would call the new Universal, even though it's been around for 3 years at this point.
It's the Superman theme or whatever it is. Bum bum ba bum bum ba bum.
Well, I actually looked this up because it's a fanfare, right? And 20th Century Fox had a fanfare the year before, and I feel like it's a copy of that. That's my personal opinion.
It's certainly reflective of its time, the late 30s. It's what Greg Mank calls a razzmatazz version.
It is like the Superman. I can picture that.
Now that I think of it. But okay, why do we have a new Universal logo? Because November 1st, 1935, as per usual, Universal was in deep financial trouble. Bride of Frankenstein made a shit ton of money and they still couldn't turn a profit. Uncle Carl took out a loan for $750,000 from the Standard Capital Corporation. A gentleman named J. Cheever Cowden, and I can work in a legitimate Marx Brothers reference because his name is spoofed in At the Circus by Groucho's characters J. Cheever Loophole.
Oh, right. Interesting.
Yeah,
nice.
So there's an actual, for once, I get a real Marx Brothers connection instead of making it up.
Yeah.
He and Charles R. Rogers had a clause in the loan that they had an option to buy the studio after 90 days if they could come up with the capital for $5.5 million. And Uncle Carl was feeling pretty good about himself, so he extended it twiise.
See, I never get that part. Why does he extend it?
Because he's an
idiot. Is he just stupid? Okay, good business move.
Bad gambler, I think, and so he extended.
First of all, just have James Whale direct all your films. You know,
right.
Can't lose.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they had Showboat, which was coming out shortly after this all transpired, which made a huge amount of money.
Yeah, and Bride, obviously, and then Old Dark House and Frankenstein they're all hits, right?
Oh yeah, I think. Oh,
that's over here on my side.
Okay.
Tom's paternal instincts kicked in.
No. Well, I think Uncle Carl, he just doubled down that they wouldn't come up with $5.5 million. And they did. April 3rd, 1936, they signed the papers and owned Universal Studios. Wow. Carl Laemmle and Jr. were booted out. And booted is the word for being a poor businessman, apparently.
Yeah.
We have a new logo and we have a whole new studio.
Can I just say I think that's a sign of what happened. That's a bigger thing maybe than is talked about. They were bad businessmen, but they liked making movies, and that's why we got such great movies under.
Oh, absolutely.
They didn't always make the right business decision.
Right.
No, certainly not. But you look at their output, and it's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, people mock Junior Laemmle all the time, but he got a pretty impressive track record.
Sure. Yeah. Why did they mock him? He's the reason we're all here.
Exactly. He wanted to make Dracula. Yeah. He wanted to make Frankenstein. He actually had a lot to do with them making Phantom of the Opera, or he was even the production head. So it's because of Junior Laemmle that we have this whole genre, and he gets made fun of a lot. Yeah, I don't get it. He was hired by MGM and didn't do shit, and he lived until like 1975 and didn't do anything. Never made another film. Uncle Carl only lived for another year or so after, and
so he didn't even live to see Son of Frankenstein.
Nope.
Okay.
Wow. So Junior didn't even try and make other horror movies. Well, I think like MGM did not respect horror films.
No, MGM didn't know how to make they wouldn't have made the same kind of film. New Universal didn't respect horror movies either, so they said, well, there's no more of that. Put out Dracula's Daughter, and that's it, which coincided with what they call the horror ban in England.
Right.
They had introduced the H certificate, which is H for horror, which meant that I think under 18 or something couldn't see the films. And then they basically just said, you know what? We don't want any more. anymore. Just don't send us these anymore. So for about 2.5 years, there weren't any horror films made.
And Bela Lugosi in particular suffered
Yeah,
during
he
that.
suffered pretty harshly. Yeah, Karloff managed to bounce back, as character actor.
Night Key. You remember Night Key?
Oh yeah, Night Key. It's a winner.
I still haven't seen Night Key. Is it any good?
No.
What year was Night Key?
It's 37.
37, yeah.
Yeah.
And when did the play come out?
Arsenic and Old Lace? Or?
Arsenic and Old Lace, yeah.
40,
I don't know.
39.
40, 41, something like that, I think.
Oh, is it?
Oh, okay.
It's after Night Key, certainly.
I thought it was like around 39, but
I'll say this about Night Key. It's got a longer introduction. The globe spins a little bit further. And you know that fake one I made that does a little bit, the music it repeats a couple of times? It actually does a little bit more of that.
Really? But you said you've never seen it.
I can't remember how it goes now, but it repeats longer.
You said you've never seen it, though.
No, I just saw the intro the other day.
Oh, okay.
I was doing research.
That's probably all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the commentary, because Shout Factory put it out as one of those Universal Collection Blu-ray sets. And,
So I even have it. Okay.
you do,
Oops.
yeah. And Tom Weaver says he drew the short straw and had to do the commentary for Night Key. So that kind of gives you an idea of its quality.
So I don't know where you want to go now, but did you? I haven't read the script in a while, and I remember thinking, "Oh, it's interesting, but definitely know why it didn't work."
Yeah, it's more or less the same story, but not a lot of flavor to it. All the things that are wrong with the film are more wrong in the script.
Yeah,
too much domestic scenes. You think there's a lot of.
Is Igor even in it?
Igor is not even in it. Lugosi was supposed to play the inspector, which I think was Niemoller in the script, and no wooden arm or anything like that. It's very bland.
Right. Yeah. And the monster yaps a lot.
He talks a lot. Yep. And
I remember it not being too interesting, a little redundant.
It is very redundant. It's a long slog to read. You think the movie's long. The script is even longer to read. Bride of Frankenstein, we've referenced many times. The script is a lot of fun to read.
Yeah.
One of the thicker ones.
Dry.
It's not, there's a lot of text in here.
Is the actual script longer or the?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It seems like it. Yeah. There's a lot of script in there.
I think that's why I didn't read it this time.
It's probably, you're not missing much.
I mean, I watched the movie. That was a lot to do.
It's a commitment. Talking about James Whale, he left Universal when the Laemmle-Aids did, went over to MGM, but the new Universal actually lured him back with a boatload of money.
A showboat load.
Thank you. And he thought, this is great. I'm going to make the film I've always wanted to make, The Road Back.
I have that on a bad DVD.
Yeah, I can't find a real decent copy of it either, but the studio got cold feet because it was very, very anti-German, and they thought, that was bad business, so they chopped it up.
What year is that?
That's 36.
Okay.
So World War II hadn't started yet. They were still wanting to placate Hitler, and so they butchered the hell out of it, and he said enough of that, and he left.
Wow, he was very ahead of his time.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that's true.
God, it's a tragedy. I mean, he really is one of the best.
Yeah, he should have made films through the 40s, but Hollywood said differently.
Yeah.
And why do we think that is? One of the big things that everybody likes to talk about is that he was unique in being an openly gay man in Hollywood in the 30s. It didn't seem to affect his career at all. So we assume that didn't affect any reason why he wasn't hired later. Or I guess he went over budget on Bride. I don't know.
He did, and he liked to be.
It was artistic.
Yeah.
I mean, I always considered the 30s sort of like the 70s. It was a great, especially the early 30s, great decade for films, and then censorship started hitting, and it became more of a big business.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and kind of what happened in the late 70s.
Yeah, it's show business, not show art. So and I think the new Universal wasn't as willing to put up with his behavior as Junior was.
Okay.
Yet they let Roland V. Lee go way over budget and way over schedule. So I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. I always wonder when people talk about the business. There's a lot of talk about the finances and stuff. And movies didn't make a lot of it wasn't a business to get into to make money back then. A lot of movies made a lot of money, but a lot of movies lost a lot of money. It's only now that we're seeing these big blockbusters that make billions of dollars. And that didn't happen back in the old days. There really was
until the late 70s, like Dino says. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But But I guess I don't know standard
But it was
capital.
still,
I don't even know who's running.
I mean, the later Universals were more of a business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With this new management,
Yeah,
Deanna
that's true.
Durbin was the shit. That's the kind of films we want to make now. Are these glossy, family-friendly films. We don't have any room for horror films.
So in a couple of years from now, because we're going to spend a couple of years talking about this movie. After that, it's all B pictures, right? Everything's
pretty
okay.
much.
This is an A picture though. This was
this was-
Well, you're gonna
Yeah.
you probably got something about the Regina Theater.
I do.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
you are.
I'm jumping ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Regina Theater in LA. Is that still around, or have you?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
And I don't.
I
It's
don't
not.
know anything.
I'm not familiar with it actually.
Okay, this was 39 or 38 actually. It was floundering, so they just got a hold of whatever movie they could to show, and they got a couple cheap prints of
All right.
Frankenstein, Dracula, and
King
everyone's favorite Son of Kong.
Oh, Son of Kong, not even
Son of-
King Kong.
no,
I thought it was
Son-
King Kong.
No, Son of Kong. And apparently they had to add showings and be screening them around the clock because people were lining up to see these old movies.
Yeah.
To the point where
And-
Bela Lugosi starts coming to appear there at the
he
theater
shows
regularly,
up.
right?
Yeah, he shows
I
up.
love that idea. Like he's out of work. His career is over after what seems like a pretty short period of time from being a big star, really.
Yeah, like 4 years. Yeah.
And now he's introducing his old movies, and it's great. I think you're smiling like I'm making fun of him. I'm actually not.
No, it's very sweet. I think.
And because
Well,
how
it's
it
what,
turns
it's what
out,
I'm going to do in a couple years. I'm going to start showing up as Sideburns. I mean, Starburns. Now you got to keep
I
it
wrote
in.
this. I wrote this glowing introduction, and then I fucking just.
You got to
stepped
keep it in
shit
now.
at the end of it.
I did
You brought it back, so yeah, we have to keep
That's
it.
called a callback in the comedy business.
That's
go.
right.
There you go. Universal got wind of the fact that they're making money off of these old films, so they dusted off some prints and did a reissue themselves, which is where we lose the Maria being thrown in the water, and now I know what it feels like to be God, because
yep.
they had to be resubmitted to the production code.
And what Dracula getting
Oh,
the
yeah, you don't hear
sound
the,
of him getting dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the sound of Renfield falling down the hollow, empty stairs too was gone.
Oh, okay.
Put back.
Okay.
So they reissued them around the country and made a lot of money. So it's like, well, okay, we're back in the horror business,
Right.
Which brings us to
Yeah. Son of
this film.
Frankenstein.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the one. This isn't like we talk about Dracula's daughter sort of being a part of that fizzling out, or it was already in production and they kind of just
They just
put it out because it was there. This is the big picture. We're coming back, baby.
Right. And we're talking
We're bringing in Roland V. Lee.
Yeah.
He's rolling right in.
He's rolling in. Roland V. Lee. Do we want to know about Roland V. Lee? There's not a lot that.
As
Then
long as
yes.
there's not a lot, I'm into it.
All right. Born September 6th, 1891 in Findlay, Ohio. The pride of Findlay, Ohio. December 21st, 1975, he passed away in Palm Desert, California at the age of 84. Known as an actor early on, a lot of silent films that you've never heard of and will never see. A writer and producer, but he has 58 directing credits from 1920 to 1945. So he only did another 6 years after he directed this film.
Did he do a lot of like? I picture him doing a lot of like swashbuckling.
Yes, among them, like Count of Monte Cristo, Three
Right.
Musketeers.
I think I knew that.
Yeah, Son of Monte.
Do those
Cristo,
have a lot
Captain
of people
Kidd.
putting kids to bed and stuff in that? or-
Yeah. There's Three Musketeers has a 20-minute real uninterrupted cut of D'Artagnan putting his son to bed.
D'Artagnan putting D'Artagnan Jr.
Yeah.
But swashbuckling the whole way there.
It's a little more entertaining when he's swashbuckling.
Yeah. Immediately after this, he did Tower of London, also with Rathbone and Karloff. I was wondering why he didn't bring Bela along as well.
Oh yeah,
It might
yeah.
have been a more interesting film.
Right. And Bella had to have. I mean, he must have gotten some great reviews for
I
Igor.
would think so, because that is the best performance of his career.
Right.
I did poke
yeah,
around the reviews a little bit, and in like the standard books, Universal Horrors and stuff like that. And yeah, Bella gets it obviously.
Yeah, Bela-
What did
It
Bella
shines.
do right after Son? Because you'd think that his career would have taken off a little bit there.
See,
but-
yeah, I will edit this out.
Can't
but-
think of anything. 39,
Wow.
39. When is Black Friday? Is that 39?
That was like 40.
Okay. It's because somebody pointed out on the Classic Horror Film Board that Black Friday is a bit of a boost for Bella as far as the publicity, because they talk all about him getting hypnotized and all that bullshit.
Stupid, yeah.
But there's a lot of publicity associated with Bella, so he does get a bit of a boost.
Hold on.
After
Or
this,
you
he did-
guys keep talking.
Okay.
he did the Gorilla after this, where he played a butler, not one of those thankless, bland roles. Human Monster, which is okay. Ninotchka, one of his better non-horror roles.
Is he? It's not a big part, right? Or is
Big
it?
part, but he's great. He's the kind of thing that he excels at are these character parts.
Yes, I agree.
would say. Give
Well,
him
like in this
something
one, he's not the star of this one.
No, and he's fantastic. This is his best performance in a film.
What
course,
about
you-
right after this? Sorry.
The Gorilla.
Oh.
And
Wait, is that a Ritz Brothers movie?
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, I raised my daughter on Universal Monsters, and she loved them. She used to,
Oh,
she had a Frankenstein, I think a Billiken Frankenstein model that she used to Smonster. Sorry,
Smonster.
And kiss it goodnight, and
Oh,
change
really? That's
diapers
really
and
sweet.
stuff. And she was not afraid of monsters at all. And then I showed her the gorilla with the Ritz Brothers, and she started screaming in terror, like at the guy in a gorilla suit.
Oh, I thought maybe the Ritz brothers scared her.
Harry, yeah.
Yeah, Harry is terrifying.
I guess you never know. I know that I've said this before, but Bela Lugosi scared the hell out of me, and I couldn't tell you what I saw him in. But as a little kid,
I was definitely I'm one of the few, because I saw Mark of the Vampire as a little kid, and I was relieved by the ending.
Yeah, I guess
I
so.
can see
That's
that.
probably pretty good for kids, actually.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
It'd be a good ending.
So that's all I got about Roland V. Lee, other than he likes to shoot a lot of film.
Something that I noticed again on the Classic Horror Film Board that Tom Weaver pointed out about a year ago. He figured this out. Son of Frankenstein's production dates are November 38 through January of 1939.
Okay.
The Hound of the Baskervilles production dates November of 38 through February of 1939. So Basil Rathbone is starring in both of these films at the same time. Now you'll remember Hound of the Baskervilles. He's out of it.
He's gone for a long
Gone for
time.
a
Yeah.
good-
But somebody else on the board did point out he only has a mustache in one of them, but it's such a minor. I think he could have put it on.
Yeah,
with
He
a-
could have
like a
penciled that in.
But it is interesting to think about. Did they shoot like all the scenes without Basil
Probably.
on Hound first and then come back?
Yeah,
Because that's the way. It's hard for me to always kind of put these things together in time and figure out. Because to me, they're all jumbled together.
Right.
Basil Rathbone is the guy he's Sherlock Holmes when he does this movie. No, he's not. He's doing him at the exact same time. It's
Yeah.
the first Sherlock Holmes film.
And he had no association with the genre really prior to
Yeah.
this either. So this was his sort of entry into the, being a horror star, which apparently he hated being known
He called
as.
the Penny Dreadfuls, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, he was not a fan. Even in the 60s when he did all those Roger Corman things, wasn't real fond of it. But it was a
All right.
track.
Well, then here we go. Let's start the fight. I put it to you two gentlemen. Is that part of the problem with this film, that Rathbone isn't taking it seriously?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's not really what I have against the film. He's certainly over the top, but at least it's kind of interesting how over the top he is.
I like
My big problem is I get a little bored in parts, when there's a lot of repetition within scenes, and then there's a lot of repetitive scenes, like another meeting with Krog,
Yeah, they don't always advance the story
Right.
particularly. You could
Well, okay.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'll concede that. There are a lot of parts that don't even make sense. They don't just not advance the story. They kind of set
well, they kind of
off
contradict.
to one side.
Right.
Well,
in the
Within a
same scene.
it'll
Yes.
contradict itself.
Right, 'cause I wrote-
Go ahead.
Sorry, I wrote one time when Bella said, "Oh no, it was Krog." It was in one of those scenes. He said it was Bella, or it was Igor who undoubtedly killed him, and then said, "But Igor didn't do it. The monster did it." In
the
like a half a minute later.
Yeah.
It's in the same
three
page,
sentences.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's problematic.
Yeah,
but
there's a
I
lot
mean,
of that.
okay, but if that was your only problem with it, when you're watching it, you could forgive it and kind of say he's trying to, he's using his inspector skills to try and get some reaction out of Wolf. The only reason that I don't believe what I'm saying is that the movie is sort of ramshackle generally.
Yeah.
And so it's more likely a different person wrote the first part than the second part.
Yeah, he says undoubtedly.
Yeah, well,
He undoubtedly killed Benson. except
Yeah.
he didn't.
He's not really the best inspector now that I think about it, because he gives away a lot in the conversations. I think that'll be a theme. Like, well, if he hadn't said that, he might have caught him up. But no, he gives away parts of the plot to Frankenstein, to Wolf.
Well, that brings up the question that I don't remember. Is the writer, what's his name? Is
Willis
it Cooper?
Cooper.
Willis Cooper. Is he writing these day by day, or is Roland V. Lee writing?
Well, I think a lot of it is Lee.
Yeah.
Writing.
I seem to
rewriting
think
it
it's
as they
not.
shoot.
Yeah, I seem to think it's not Cooper.
Yeah,
Right.
Like he's not around.
Cooper wrote, the draft that's in the book that we read. But I don't think he hung around during production. It was a long production, November 9th.
Imagine his
1938 to
face when he
January
saw the cut.
Yeah. What the hell did you do to my work?
Holy shit. Yeah.
Well,
I think the changes that were made were improvements.
Right.
It's just
There's that.
what you do is you don't stop shooting a film on January 5th and then release it January 13th.
Yeah.
That's
Well, that maybe
I
that
don't
might
mind.
be it. It's the old, I forget which writer said this letter would be shorter if I had more time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. Yeah. They didn't preview it. They didn't do the usual process where you look at it and like, well, okay. They basically
Could have used a few more cuts. Yeah. A few more edit.
Yeah, there's a really good 75-minute movie and a so-so 99-minute movie.
Right.
So one of the things I didn't even realize until this week is we're doing the extended version of this film,
right.
and I've talked to both of you guys about it. I talked to you about it
Yeah.
on the board, or you saw me talking about it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we had the expanded edition on Blu-ray, and boy, with those additions, it really fills it out and makes.
And
it,
is that how it was released, or are these just extra scenes?
The only thing that I could find is that a couple sources, one of them is the IMDb, and I forget where else I saw it, but that the British version was slightly longer than the US version. I'm assuming
IMDb
that's
says
where
the British
these-
version. Mank says something about. I'm going to look like a really old man as I take my glasses off to read this. That was a preview. There was a preview that had those extra scenes. I don't know. So I guess there was at least a preview where they cut out.
They cut
a
out
few
8
seconds.
Yeah.
But the
Right.
preview audiences filled in their cards and they said, "Do not cut a second of Wolf bringing Donnie to bed." Whatever the hell.
He actually says, "Hold tight, almost there." During it. Like he's almost talking to the audience. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always good. It's always a good sign. Your movie's going wow.
No one will be seated during the putting to bed scene.
You know what's great about it though is it does pay off. I mean, when we get to that minute, there is a point to him doing that. There is some drama associated
There
with
is?
it. He's
What
got
is
to
it?
get that kid
To
out
bed.
of that room and bring him to another room so he can extract some information from him.
Right.
We
But
just don't need a half a minute of walking around.
I guess Amelia is following, right? Or
Yeah.
is she-
Oh, yeah, it gives her some more.
See, it's even better now.
There's
There's multiple people with multiple agendas.
Well, he can't talk to the kid in front of Amelia.
Right.
But get rid of Amelia. I don't know. The tension isn't. I didn't feel the tension.
No, it's not a lot of tension. And he talks to her in front of him. He ends up talking to him in front of Amelia.
Yeah.
Oh, he does. Yeah.
Yeah, because
yeah,
she
she's
says
in the
something
room.
and he turns
Oh,
around.
right.
Like, oh, I forgot you were here.
Oh shit.
All right.
Yeah, he's great. Bye. Something like that.
There you go.
No,
So we're just so you know, Frankenstein Minute fans, you get about another episode, a bonus episode worth of content from us because this is the extended edition of the film,
That's right, yeah.
which one source says is 41 seconds longer. Mank says 80 seconds,
80 is
and then
the word, yeah.
IMDb says 2 minutes. I can't be bothered to do the math.
No, it's not enough to take the time to do it.
Yeah.
Well, it premiered the 13th of January, but opened wide the 28th of January. So they could have, in that time, they could have cut that out as well.
Yeah,
Right.
I assume that's right.
Its budget was $300,000, came in at $420,000.
Really?
Yep.
Because in that
120,000
thread,
over.
that keep bringing up the Classic Horror Film Board because I actually went through and looked at it. Greg Mank himself says on there it was about $1 million. So that seems off by quite a bit.
I don't think so.
How much did it make?
Well, we haven't gone through the film yet, so I can't.
Oh,
We can't
give away
reveal
the
that.
ending. I need to give away the ending.
I mean, I've done a few spoilers here.
Yeah,
Feel
no,
free and cut
no,
anything out.
I haven't checked into that yet. It made a lot, enough that they kept doing this for another 6
Sure.
years afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard it said that way, but it doesn't seem like that to me. Just because I don't know what immediately comes after this, doesn't seem. It seems to take a while to ramp up. What comes after this? A Mummy movie?
Yeah, I think Mummy's 1940,
Hand.
right?
Mummy's
Okay,
Hand,
then
yeah.
not okay. I'm wrong.
Actually, the first one post Son of Frankenstein is like The Invisible Man Returns.
Okay, is that
Ah,
40,
yes.
40 or
Okay.
39?
39, 40, something like that. Yeah.
and
Very-
then
very
the
close.
Mummy, and then Ghost is only 42. So yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
then the Wolfman, I think. Well,
I'm-
man-made
right.
monster, which led to the Wolfman.
Right.
Oh, and the Wolfman is 41.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
you wanna know what-
That's why listen, I started this whole thing so I could learn all this stuff. You guys
Okay.
just have to suffer through listening to me learn this from Thom.
Well, I'm glad.
I think a lot of times on the Frankenstein Minute, I learn from your stupidity.
Yes, that's
Bill's-
why I'm such a valuable contributor. That's what I bring.
Providing a service.
Someone's got to ask the dumb questions.
Oh boy.
Oh, for goodness sake. This time around, we don't have a Carl Dreadstone or Michael Edgermont to read extensively from. I'm a little bit
That
relieved.
crutch is gone.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm a little bit relieved. I don't think we'll reference the script much at all because it is so different.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
The basic
'Cause,
story
you can't-
structure is similar, but there's not like each scene has an analog in the film versus the script, so it would be a bumpy ride.
Is there a sulfur pit in the book? No. How does he die? Well, I guess you guys could save
We'll
that.
talk about that
Yeah.
in 2 years.
So yeah, it's 99. So yeah, 100 minutes
It's
basically.
99 minutes. They're at 99.
It's almost 2 years.
Well, here's a couple other of my nitpicky notes then, unless
Yeah,
you want to
for it. No,
go.
go for it.
Let me see if I, hold on.
That's
Let
why
me
we
see if I
had you
got
on,
anything
Dino,
else.
so you could nitpick.
I can throw mine in anywhere.
This is a very nitpicky note. The whole poem head to head when the houses fill the dread. The head to head thing. Come on, Trollians aren't going to rhyme in English. Okay, so that's an awful note.
Well, it's an awful poem, so
Yeah.
fair's fair.
Here's something that really just irritates me, that I think it's we see some of Henry's writing, and before he's even created the monster, he calls him the monster.
Yeah, Wolf reads it out, I think, as well.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But yeah, he refers
He's-
to it as the monster.
Like I'm
Or
making
it's
a
the
monster.
Yeah.
This is what I want to make, a monster, which is exactly what the novel and the first movie is not about.
Oh, I like that.
You like that he calls him the
You like that
monster?
He calls it a monster?
No, I like your note that it doesn't really make a lot
Oh.
of sense, because I think I might have said this before, but when we get to that point, it's just a series of people from this point on that come to the realization that what they really want to do as a scientist is see the monster brought to their full strength, or
Right.
revitalize the monster. Everybody's trying to bring the monster back to life
Yeah,
from
but
here on.
nobody
out.
Right.
Nobody ever really does it. That's the thing, is they have to see the monster at its full power. But we get it, Lugosi or Glenn Strange bumping into things for a few minutes, and that's that.
Well, also, Wolf says, I'm going to bring him back to life, and this will vindicate my father. How? How is that going to vindicate?
You're gonna do the very thing that
Everyone
hates you
wants.
for.
Yeah. He knows that's why no one wants him there.
Yeah.
I agree, but that's not a lot different than Henry's motivation, really, right? Like we don't get
Right.
a big understanding of what he was trying to do either.
Henry was trying
well,
to
Create
life.
a race of monsters that would
Yeah.
dominate the world.
We already- I mean-
Pistorius was doing that, not
Yeah.
Henry.
Wolf already knows.
No, Henry says that.
The
Henry says
outcome.
that.
Says it, but he says, I could have, but that's not his
Yeah.
motivation in Frankenstein. He says it in Bride, like, who knows? I could have even done this, but throughout Frankenstein, that never seems to be his motivation.
Right. And Wolf already knows. He's got history to show him that,
this is probably a really
unless
bad
you've got a
idea.
new brain somewhere around.
Well, it's not even a human brain, according to Wolf, when he does the whole
Oh, yeah. Like,
45
where
minute
did.
sequence where he's
Yeah.
examining the monster.
Exactly. Where did
human heart, human
where did Henry get all this stuff? All
Yeah,
that
it's
blood,
not
that blood
human.
that's not real.
Yeah.
It's synthetic blood. I mean, I guess it could be. He never talked about where he got the blood from.
The heart too, because in Frankenstein he says, I got graveyards anywhere. And in the novel, she indicates that it's potential that he went to slaughterhouses for parts as well.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
Cow's heart, as far as we know.
All right. Well, is that going to have the same blood type as the monsters? All right. I'm jumping to ghosts now.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that blood type. The eyes don't like it.
What's in the brain without eyes to see?
I love that it won't feed the sensory nerves, which just means he's blind. That's the only
Yeah.
sensory. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. We're not talking ghosts. We're not talking ghosts.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe we should. So you're saying he doesn't have the other set? He like at
He
the
probably
same
goes
time, he's
deaf
like,
also.
I
He probably
taste
can't
anything.
smell.
Can't smell, can't feel anything.
Yeah. I have
This gum tastes terrible. What is this?
I used to write for this show, and one of the writers, it was like an adult cartoon cavalcade kind of show. It was TV Funhouse on Comedy Central, and one of the writers had a great idea. It's like, things keep going wrong for Magoo. Now he can't smell, you know, and he just ends up eating shit and stuff.
That's great.
He couldn't feed the sensory nerves either.
Wrong blood type. Does it every time.
Yeah.
Magoo got a blood transfusion.
That's my favorite line. Things keep going wrong for Magoo. Now he can't smell.
It's my favorite moment from today, right there.
It's not my joke. I wish I could say it was.
But you told us so well.
Yeah, can you credit the joke? Who was it?
It was a writer named Greg Cohen. Yeah,
Right.
I think he writes for American Dad. Is that a show?
That's a show.
Yeah.
It's one of those Seth MacFarlane shows, I believe.
Yeah.
So they have like 3 jokes
Right.
that they repeat endlessly.
Yeah, he's a good writer, but he likes money too. So. Okay, so anyway,
Let's see. So,
I mean, do you guys have anything more to say about it?
I want to hear your nitpicking.
It's not. I don't have many actually, because there's stuff that I've talked about already. Like Igor's knocking on the neck. But
actually, watching it last night, that didn't seem as bad as I had remembered it. I thought
Wow.
it was basically a.
This is really
We
not
went to-
going the way I planned it.
I
I,
would-
really
went to
thought
Walter
I was going to have
Lance.
to defend this movie, and now you're saying the knock on the neck isn't bad.
Oh, it's still terrible. It's
I would have
awful.
taken. I would have foleyed. Maybe like hitting a lump of meat or something.
Yeah, like a chicken
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
wait
on
a minute.
at least
You
some
did this
fleshy-
on the. You did something else, right, Dino?
Oh yeah. Well, I put a duck sound
Duck
to
sound.
to make Rick mad.
Yeah.
in a fun way. I like
Yeah,
Rick,
yeah.
but I don't think he appreciated it.
Maybe not.
There's not much more. He says Krog in the beginning when they mentioned Frankenstein. He's like, "Haven't we heard that name enough?" Yeah, it's your town's goddamn name.
Fucking town.
Yeah.
You
It's not
can't
only-
help hear it.
Yeah, you're gonna hear it.
It's like when
not only-
anyone asks you what town is this, you're gonna have to say it.
Where you living at now?
Yeah,
Up over the hill. You don't know.
Where do you kick your feet up? Over at Frankenstein.
You don't want to know.
You called it's like calling your town Godzilla.
Hitler or
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
I'm from Hitlerberg.
Godzillaville.
Yeah.
Just thinking after all the problems we've had on the news, we've made the national news a lot here in the
What
Twin
Frankenstein
Cities.
Minute did?
Yeah.
No.
Did you see
No.
Bill-
But just a
Minnesota.
lot of bad news has centered around where we live in the
Yeah.
last couple of years.
That's gonna
Haven't
be a
we
monster
heard
name.
Minneapolis enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it used to
That
be
was-
associated with Prince or maybe the Replacements back in the day.
Bob Dylan or yeah.
Bob Dylan, something.
First
But no,
Avenue.
now when you hear Minneapolis on the news, it's like, oh shit, here we go. So
Yeah.
I kind of identify with that.
That's a good idea for a horror movie to create a monster named Minneapolis.
Yeah, perfect.
Son of Minneapolis.
Son of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I think really that's it. And then, the end, which you could cut this or not if you want to jump to the end. But they love Wolf at the end.
Yeah, all of a sudden everybody is his best friend. Yep.
Yeah.
He's the hero. Come on, he's the hero.
Well, he did swashbuckle that monster away.
He sure did.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the
Absolutely. Well, his
swashbuckler at
stunt-
the end.
His stunt double swashbuckled the monster's stunt double anyway.
But also, I think a lot of the music, I know I gave Bride of Frankenstein a lot of shit for the music. It's a little much at times. This one, hardly anything's happening, and it sounds like an action
Yeah,
movie.
big
And then
stuff.
when the monster starts going for the kid, it's literally it's
Keystone Cop.
comic, Keystone Cop chase music. Was it that music back then? Maybe they didn't have.
They didn't associate it with it, but
Yeah.
it's another instance where they were writing the score literally up to the very last minute.
Yeah, that's
They might have gotten it from Keystone Cop.
They stole it from Max Sennett.
I was once doing a show and I wanted like a woman to come in and I told the music person, give me some sexy horn, like saxophone music or something like that. And she literally stole it off the internet and it just went womp, womp, womp. Took that bit. I'm like, you've never had sex before in your life.
or seen a Tex Avery cartoon, apparently.
Yeah.
not good sex anyway.
Well, if that's what you associate with sexy music.
So that could have happened, with Roland V. Lee. He's just like he didn't have time to talk to the music.
Yeah,
you have music meetings,
Yeah.
And,
Honestly, everything you read about it, it does sort of seem like that. I mean, maybe not that in particular, but that there was an extraordinary amount of time in production and racing to get through post-production.
Post-production, because they had a firm release date, apparently.
that could be the only excuse, and then I'll cut it a little slack, if you really had to rush it.
Frank Skinner, who is the credited composer, he and Hans J. Salter would take turns taking a nap. Skinner would write, turn it over, Salter would orchestrate it while Skinner took a nap, and then vice versa. Because they were literally round the clock trying to get the score done before the recording date so they could edit it into the film and get it released. So they were...
So Skinner would wake up and go to Salter and say, work!
Yes.
Or is that a different thing? I'm thinking of something else.
No, you're thinking of something else.
The score itself, though, like we all have it. We all have it on CD, right? I assume you've listened to it. You can listen to it. It's a good score. The music is good. I enjoy this music more than the Bride music. I can listen to this, I don't know, sort of more freely.
You hate the Bride of Frankenstein anyway, so.
No, that's true. I've been trashing it since day one.
Clear.
Don't say that. Dino hasn't heard the last couple episodes where I talk about how it's the greatest movie ever made.
I'm a little
They
behind.
haven't come out yet.
So, I think some of that is just a result of, again, not having enough time to do it properly. Yeah, it's a good score. I think Bride is better. And maybe it's just because my personal tastes go immediately to James Whale and that flavor that he brings to it.
You know what my favorite score from all of these movies is, and it's legitimately, I think the spookiest score is Abracadabra Me Frankenstein.
Oh, that's a great score, actually. Yeah. That's a fantastic score.
Like that, I think that is a perfect score.
Everything about that film works really well.
Yeah.
There's the one moment where the monster is scared of Lou, which is
right.
But other than that, everything, the parts that are supposed to be funny are funny. The parts
Wolfman's a little clumsy and slow, but
it wasn't it ever thus. I mean,
London.
You haven't seen you haven't seen the Egyptian one yet, right? I actually had I ripped that one. You have
watched it. Yeah.
That's a real slow Wolfman. That one. He's literally like laundry is keeping him away.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I gotta watch these movies.
I'm gonna put it up on Vimeo.
Yeah, because it's worth
a
look.
I also have the Mexican Abracadabra.
I think the Egyptian one is more fun than the Mexican one, though.
The Mexican one I can't find with good subtitles.
I couldn't find it. I don't have subtitles at all on the one.
Which is the one that was made in color, like in the 70s or whatever? Is that the Egyptian one?
No, I don't know.
I'm making something up. Maybe I have a special one. Maybe that's one I made.
That's the one I made on Super 8.
Oh, did you?
You guys really?
An Abbott and Costello Me Frankenstein?
Well, we basically ripped
like
off,
a comedy.
Yeah, basically ripped off.
So did the monkey. The monkeys did too.
Yeah.
I suppose that's true.
No, it's definitely true.
No, it is. Yeah.
They wanted Peter's brain in the monster.
Yeah, that's right. God, I want to go watch.
And all the the Wolfman's in it, the mummy's in it, Dracula.
Yeah,
see, that's
is that the one where Mickey has.
They won that battle. We needed. We needed the mummy in it,
and he has to hold it on.
Oh yeah, the Wolfman mask.
Yeah, he's got like half of a Don Post mask hooked over his ears, and it won't stay in place.
All right. Well, I had material here that I wanted to cover because I assumed you guys were going to say movie wasn't very good.
Oh, maybe your love for it will spark my hate. So go ahead. Try
there you go. I was going to say it was like the Annie Hall joke in reverse. The food is terrible and such small portions. It seems like the argument against this movie is it looks great. It's packed with amazing performances, quotable dialogue. We love so many things about it, and it's just too long.
I mean, it does definitely have great moments. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess you're right, because there's so little of the monster in it, and yet I'd cut a lot of the monster out.
I think that's a really good point.
Like when he first meets Wolf, it's a lot of back and forth to the mirror and very slow, and then Bella comes back and moves him back and forth. I mean, it's just the staging is monotonous.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost hypnotically boring.
So there's that. I think when I listened to it today, so I was mowing the lawn and I had it on my headset.
Wow,
and
You're
I got a big lawn.
hardcore, man.
Yeah, and one of the things I was thinking about it was a lot of people talk about how it's a transition between the Laemmle era and the sort of B picture era. It's neither of those things, but it is a transition between those things. So in some ways, it's both of those things.
Right.
And I think that in that sense, it's hard to fit it in to say something like your edit, where you're editing together the saga. And when you're watching the saga, it can be a little bit off-putting because it spends I don't know how long it takes for us to even get to the monster. There's a lot of setup. There's a lot of people talking in rooms. I mean,
it's definitely a big jump. You know, I always see these movies as the original and the sequel, and it goes Frankenstein Bride, and then Son, Ghost, and then Wolfman, Frankenstein meets Wolfman, and then House, the two houses. You could pair them up really nicely.
Yeah. No, I mean, especially in this case with Igor. That's where I can see that one.
That's where
Well, it directly picks up where this film sort of leaves off,
and it's got the same Burgomaster, right?
The same council. The people that were killed.
Yeah, they come back to life.
Are back in their old jobs again.
I cut them out. Yeah.
Michael Mark, he's back, and Lionel Belmore is back, even though they were clearly seen being murdered in the sun. But
clearly karate chopped on the neck and had their heart explode.
Yes, his heart burst.
Yeah, that is kind of funny when. Now I'm going to trash it, but when Krog is talking to the coroner or whatever, check the back of the neck. Like that's how they're going to figure it out. It literally is karate chop in the back of the neck makes the heart explode.
Makes the heart burst.
Check the back of the neck, check the heart, get back to me. It says something.
Otherwise, I mean, it would have been such a cool scene because I love that shadow effect.
Oh yeah,
it's such a great idea, and then it ends so lamely. Not Laemmle,
not Laemmle.
No,
Lamely.
No, I think that's interesting. Again, though, I really do think there is an edit to be made of this movie. I can concede that, but my ideal edit of this movie is probably 92 minutes, not.
Wait a second.
25 minutes.
92, really?
Yeah. There's we don't have to watch.
I'd say 70, 75. I went overboard because I'm trying to cut them all together.
Yeah.
So I went. I think I could do a good edit. 70, 75. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. You guys do your 75-minute edit and get back to me.
We should. I'll do it. Doesn't take that long. I know these.
I don't know. It's hard for me
It's
hard for me to get excited about that when I just found out this week I've got
80 seconds,
46 seconds more than I thought I had. And you left in the 15 of those seconds on your edit.
Yeah, that one where Igor has his arm up kind of awkwardly.
Yeah, it's weird.
I thought it matched really well with the shot before where Benson's holding his arm out to kill the monster. They're almost in the same position, so I did a match cut of those.
Yeah.
I like that. I didn't notice that.
No,
but I do like
it's
that.
Subtle. It's subliminal.
That's right. I'm sure I absorbed it on some level. But it's also it's an odd thing to have happen at all, because it seems like the monster is hesitant to follow Igor, and we
in that particular moment.
Well, I'll talk about that in literally at like a year. I think it's minute 52 or something.
Oh, did you guys listen to that one part where they're pushing open?
And there's a little noise off, or somebody says something off camera.
Is it?
Oh, you sent that to my old phone. Did you know you don't have my phone number?
Oh shit! No, I didn't know that.
I'll text you
either. I just thought you were being a dick and not.
You told me that, Tom. You said I think he has your old phone number because I didn't get it from him.
I didn't know you had another phone number.
I
was wondering. I've been like sending you texts, like opening up to you about how much I loved you, and nothing. You've been ghosting me, as the kids say.
Oh my
Listen,
God.
why do you think I got a new phone?
You've been Ghost of Frankensteining me.
Oh no. Yeah, I can't tell what's being said. It's some sort of
Yeah, I don't hear.
off
I don't know
camera.
what he says. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I,
just-
I, yeah, I'm not.
Random-
I don't know if it's Igor or if
Yeah,
it's
like
someone off
Ghost is saying
camera.
something, but it sounds like it's off camera because it's got that
Yeah.
sort of sound to it.
Right, and it's part of the added because I listened to the
Yeah.
other cut.
Yeah.
And it's not in the other cut,
Right,
the
it's part
shorter
of that
cut.
added
Oh, it is.
footage.
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense. It is. Okay, I see. I know exactly when it is because I just went and did that. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe is
Yeah,
that
he's
why they cut it?
pushing open that big sort of sculpted.
The one where the monster helps
him
Igor
close it.
close it. Yeah.
The one where Gene Wilder pushes on the. oh, that's- yeah, I think I've got. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about this minute. The credits. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I got Willis Cooper. Do we want to talk about him?
Sure.
Born January 26, 1899 in Pekin, Illinois. Died June 22nd, 1955, High Bridge, New Jersey at the age of 56.
56. Wow.
Here's an interesting
nice
thing
long
about
life.
Pekin, Illinois. Until recently, you're probably going to have to cut this. They had a sports team called the Pekin because the Pekin is named after Peking, the Pekin Chinks.
No,
I've actually heard of
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
I was wondering if you were going to say that. I didn't remember the city though.
yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's until recently.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the good
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it might be like the 70s where they changed it, or maybe just really recently. I can't
think
remember.
It was
Last
kind of
week.
recent.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
primarily.
Hopefully, they're
known-
just talking about armor.
Yeah.
but-
Yes. What else could they be
Chinese
talking about?
armor.
What else could it mean?
Yeah.
What else could it mean?
Chinese
There's
armor.
no other possible explanation. Willis Cooper, primarily known as a radio writer. You may have heard of Lights Out. It was a famous radio.
All right, I have heard of it.
He was the sort of the mastermind behind that.
Is that like a spooky radio show?
It's kind of like like the Inner Sanctum or the CBS
The Shadow Knows or something.
Radio Mystery Theater or whatever that was in the 70s.
Right.
That kind of thing. Wrote a handful of Mr. Moto films starring Peter Lorre. Wrote the story for the Bela Lugosi serial The Phantom Creeps, which if it hasn't
Really?
been would be a great name for a band.
Yeah.
I don't know that it has, so maybe I should.
Phantom Creeps was on Mystery Science Theater. They would put it on
They would put it, when the
a lot as the
film ran
short, like one
yeah.
season there, or maybe
Yeah.
more. They did.
They only
So are we holding that against him? What are we holding against him exactly? Has he done anything good?
the fact that his name is misspelled in the credits.
Oh, is it?
Well, it's spelled Willis, and then shortly after the film, he changed it to Wyllis. So technically, it's spelled right. He just changed the spelling later. Don't know why.
I'll hold that against him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Whiny,
that-
pretentious
It's
bastard.
like adding an extra letter to your name, putting an H where it doesn't belong. It's suggested by the story, the 1816 story.
Right.
I,
And
I, I
actually,
had to
it's a
think about
film.
who added an H for a second.
Yeah. So, wait a second. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So this is the last time Mary Shelley's referenced in.
There's
movie.
about
yeah.
a paragraph of Shelley in the whole film.
But she gets a credit in the credits, though. Is that what?
She gets in the credits? Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's so far from what she wrote already that other than the name Frankenstein and the concept of bringing a body back to life or building a body and bringing it to life, that's about it.
I don't
Totally.
think they put her name in the credits because there's anything in the movie that you could even reference as hers. I think they just did it just for effect,
Being
right?
nice.
And this from the creator of Mary Shelley's Frankenhole.
Oh yeah.
Is that?
I
you
don't know.
looked at
I just thought it was funny that such a stupid show would have Mary Shelley's name.
That's
in
what
the
that's
title.
what drew me to it. I saw,
Yeah.
I saw the name, like I have to see this show.
Like just giving it all this weight. Like, such
Yeah.
a dumb show.
So I do want to say though, it doesn't just say that. It says something like, and I should have taken notes, based on the short story written in
No, it's not.
1816 by Mary. It says a whole.
It's suggested by the
suggested
1816
by.
story by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley.
Right.
And
I'm
it's
going to put
not
that on
suggested-
anything I do. My Doctor
Yeah,
Who
you-
book should have
You
said that.
could, yeah, you could. For as much as this film has to do with Mary Shelley.
I can't.
And 1816 is the shorter version? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, I mean, that's when she started writing it. It didn't get published till 1818.
Right.
And that's the shorter version. I prefer that one. It's
Yeah.
The 1818, but there's also scholars have tried to recreate what they think is the 1816 version.
Well, it's taken from her notebook.
Did you buy that book that I?
Yeah, I read
Okay. Because one of the things about the 1818, there's a guy, I can't remember his name now. He went through and he tried to, just based on handwriting, figure out what Percy Shelley added to it and subtracted that to try and get back to the original Mary Shelley.
Well, it presents both. It has
both, yeah.
His notations are printed in italic, and then it has it again without all of his contributions. And
it's a little clumsy, but
yeah.
it's interesting to see that this. What would she have been in 1816? Was she 16 years old or 17? To our modern ears, at least, she's a better writer than he is.
Oh yeah,
like
I think so.
he doesn't improve it at all.
No, he has all this flowery shit that could easily be cut out to make a good 75-minute film from a 19.
Hey,
and we're back.
All right, I'll compromise. 84 minutes.
Okay. We just have George Robinson as the director of photography. Jack Otterson and Richard H. Rydell did the art direction. Let's talk about the art direction as we get into the film, because it is very striking. Very, very different from any of the other films. I hate the laboratory set, but other than that, it looks great.
Yeah, the laboratory set, yeah.
The other laboratory set looks like it's from a TV production.
Right.
But the rest of the sets look great.
Is anything, it's all lighting, those shadows, right? There's nothing painted like the German expressionistic.
No, or like Frankenstein where there's painted shadow. No, it's all just the way it's
yeah.
And I don't know if we want to address this now, but there are rumors that it was going to be shot in color, and they decided supposedly that, Karloff's makeup didn't photograph well in color, which I think is horseshit, because you could just change the makeup to photograph well in color.
Right.
You don't have to be so enslaved to the color you're using that you can't change it.
Right.
That classic horror film board thread about Son of Frankenstein, there's a lot of stuff in that about this topic, and nobody seems to really buy that it actually shot in color.
No, I don't
some
think
people think that there were a few minutes shot in color.
Don Glued has said that a number of times, that it looks as though it was shot in color and then printed in black and white because it doesn't have the rich black and whites that Bride has, say. That's just an artifact of the way it's shot. It's lit very differently. So,
right.
I don't believe it was shot in color, but the sets look like they were designed for color because they're not these gothic,
that's the argument,
and stuff, and they're very stark, and I think they would have photographed well in color. So at some point, maybe that was bantered around, but I don't think they actually got to shooting the whole film in color or parts of it even.
I'm glad they didn't, because that would just be too jarring in my edit of all the movies.
Well, you can strip the color out.
That's true.
I don't know. I guess we've got this whole series of so there's the 30 film classic set. Those are all black and white, right? Or did they throw the Phantom of the Opera in there?
The Phantom of the Opera's in there.
Okay. I just realized I don't have that anymore. I got rid of that set, and I don't even have that.
You don't need it.
I'm just one of those curmudgeons who I'm like our Crumb. I don't like color films. I like black and white. Mm-hmm. That was when movies were movies. In fact, The Wizard of Oz was only good the first 15 minutes and the last 15 minutes. I don't even watch the middle. I don't watch the middle.
Cut it out. You wouldn't lose anything.
Yeah.
Are we still talking about Son of Frankenstein?
What now?
What did you put in this? You got anything else? Willis Cooper with a Y.
Is Jack Pierce isn't mentioned yet?
I think next minute his credit comes up. So sorry.
Yeah, we can't. We're not allowed to talk.
I'd like to talk about that dimple, but all right.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I did notice that I think Karloff has taken the bridge out again.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, watching it last night, I believe that's the case. And I'm sculpting that face now. So the pictures I look at, it looks like he's taking it out again.
Right. He just doesn't have as much shading. It's the shade is getting smaller and smaller, and it's going to
more like a beauty mark. What it would become later on.
I mean,
black dot.
I mean, I know everyone's talked about this, but has anyone definitively said why this happened? Like why?
It was just continuity, I think, for the makeup.
He just forgot what he was doing.
Pierce was probably a stickler, and like, well, there's a shadow here. None of the other actors had that sculpt to their face.
I guess maybe it was a product of like the older, like 1931, maybe like makeup was a little less subtle back then.
Yeah.
Like the dark under the eyes and stuff.
Right.
And so he's like, well, make it more subtle. And the result was just ridiculous.
house.
That's the best answer I've heard.
Yeah.
'Cause it actually makes sense, right? Because obviously, when you watch the 31 film, that adds up. It looks brilliant because of that. So
Well, and by this
for him
point,
to carry it forward, why would he bother?
I guess it would look dated, that style, you know.
Right.
well, and by this point, Karloff had gained 10, 20 pounds
Yeah, that's
over
true.
1931. So
This is a heavy time for Karloff.
You know, there's a lot of dispute saying that because Karloff is very skinny in in Black Cat.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, but that
so
was 34.
right.
I was just reading this today.
4 or 5 years
Apparently,
ago.
he was at a heavy point, 39 and 40. But you know,
he was
heavy for Boris Karloff is not.
Which is not
right. I guess
You know.
the dispute was in Bride, he didn't really fill out that much. You know?
Right. Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
filled out
right.
a little bit, but not nearly. like
Right.
he is
Well,
here.
okay, so
Certainly-
we have the Raven to go by too, and Invisible Ray. He's certainly not heavy in those.
No, not at all. And even Tower of London, he doesn't look as heavy as he does here, which was shot the same year.
Right.
Well, the following.
Is he in Hound of the Baskervilles? No, that's the other guy.
Yeah, he's the Hound. Just how versatile he was.
No,
I think that's all I got.
Oh, that killed it. Thank you. No.
It's the old Thom makes a joke on Zoom and then misses the laughing part.
10 minutes later, Bill gets it.
I think I said this on the podcast the other day, but I laughed. I still laugh at he was in the Invisible Ray. He played Ray joke. Whatever.
You froze up.
Me? Who froze up?
Yeah,
just
you did.
just your visual.
Just your-
I love the picture. I can see it.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's how I want to be remembered.
Tell Jackie to use that for your obituary.
All right.
You
Let's see here. God, I love my video not working. I can just say all kinds of shit to you.
and roll your eyes at us.
You guys are fucking nuts.
All right. Well, I am looking forward to you guys going through this behemoth.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it's quite a commitment.
In some ways, it's definitely going to be harder because obviously this last film was so rich. You would jump from one scene to the next, and it would be a completely different movie from minute to minute. You know, Son of Frankenstein's not going to do that. It's going to repeat a lot. In fact,
Yeah.
At some point they start playing darts, and nobody knows why.
Right.
I still don't know
Would
why.
you like to play darts?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the
He gives-
meantime,
He gives them a choice of two things, right? Darts or something else.
They'd have a drink or something. And
Yeah.
have a drink, or would you like to play darts?
Darts.
I think
Great
they do
dialogue.
both.
Yeah, Shakespeare's got nothing on Willis Cooper.
You want to talk about anything else?
No, I should get going. But anyway,
Well,
well,
thank you
thanks.
so much for
Like I
this.
said, I'm looking forward to see how you guys get through this.
yeah. Well, that'll be the interesting part.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's been great.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
How did that go?
I thought it went well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and there were no Muhammad Ali questions, so I thought it went. Really well.